Hello, and we're back with Terror TV. I'm your host, Steven Griswold.
And I'm Matt Coughlin.
Now, I know usually you're expecting tanks, RPGs, and assault rifles. But today, we have something special.
Tell me, Steven, what is so special about what you have today?
We have biochemical weapons!
No, you don't.
Yes, we do. Now, I know what many of you are thinking. How am I going to be able to use biochemical weapons? They're difficult. They take a lot of time, and you need some scientific knowledge.
Steven, what makes these different than all the rest?
Well, the thing is, it's not like anthrax. Anthrax, you have to go through all that laborious time, putting the powder in envelopes, mailing it out, shipping it. It's horrible. Luckily, thanks to some heroin dealers in Georgia, I've come across the Soviet-class abandoned bioweapons lab. Now, unbeknownst to most people, during the Cold War, the Soviets had spent a decent amount of time weaponizing plague.
Did they really?
Yeah. Now, I know what you're thinking. Why do I want plague?
What can you do with plague, Steven?
Now, plague, everyone knows it. Because in the 14th century, the bubonic plague was able to kill 30 to 60% of the European population.
It's a lot of Europeans down the drain.
And since then, it's been treated and it's fairly under control. But the Soviets were able to find a way around that. In the 14th century, they had bubonic plague, which was spread via the animal vector of fleas, from human to flea and human to rat. But this is pneumonic plague. Pneumonic plague has been aerosolized, spread in the air. Now, take your sample of pneumonic plague. If I sprayed in Matt's face, he'll be dead in 5 to 7 days. Guaranteed. Now, you're probably wondering, how am I going to spread this aerosolized plague? Well, I'll tell you right now. Unlike smallpox, which can be aerosolized and spread, pneumonic plague stays contagious for up to an hour in the air.
What does that mean about transmissibility?
That means that if you unleash aerosolized plague on an airport or a train station, you'll be able to affect potentially thousands of people before it's even detected.
So what you're saying is you can use this pneumonic plague and people can cough and it'll go in the air if they have it, and then that can affect other people when they breathe it in, and then they can cough and sneeze and spread it like that.
That is exactly right.
Sounds dangerous.
Yeah.
Sounds
And
deadly.
even when treated, the mortality rate is still a whopping 50%!
Did you just say 50%?
I did say 50%.
So not only is it transmissible, but it's very virulent too.
Yeah.
So it sounds.
And did you know that there's no licensed plague vaccine in the United States? That's right.
Whoa, are you telling me that if we infect people with this, there's no cure for it? They
Yeah.
can't stop it?
That is completely and utterly true. And plague is a bacterium, but the special brand of Russian plague we have has been genetically modified to be resistant to antibiotics.
Dun dun dun.
Now, if you've been up to date on your health research, you'll know that bacteriums such as MRSA are causing rampant destruction on hospitals because hospitals cannot treat them even with their strongest antibiotics. Now imagine an aerosolized plague, untreatable by antibiotics, spread throughout the United States. It causes complete and utter chaos.
So just to recap, Steven, there's been a new development in plague. There's this new pneumonic plague. It's a bacterium. There's no vaccine for it, so people can't prevent against it. There's no cure for it right now, so people can't help themselves once they already have the symptoms and the plague has infected them. So you're saying that this can really do a lot of damage. Like, why drop a bomb if you can spread pneumonic plague through the air?
Yeah. And you can do it from the comfort of your own home.
So you're telling me that I could be sitting in a chair, watching my hockey team kick some Siberian butt, while I destroy half of America's population?
Yes, and I'll show you how. Now, you're probably wondering, how am I going to be able to transport large amounts of plague into the United States?
It's tough to get stuff into the States these days.
Luckily, the Russians had designed carrier missiles.
Ooh.
These missiles would fly over undetected through the anti-missile system and drop plague upon cities and towns all across the United States.
And you won't believe this, but Stephen, isn't it right? For every 3 orders of pneumonic plague you order from us today, we will send you a free transport missile.
Free transport missile.
So not only are we going to set you up with the plague, but we're going to set you up with the missile. Everything you need to strike and attack and kill a lot of people anywhere around the country and world. Not only can you go to other parts of Russia, other parts of the United States, you can go to Europe, Africa with this missile. And you can send the plague in and you can wipe people out. 50% mortality rate.
And what was that number again?
50%, Stephen. 1/2.
50%. And that is in countries who have a proper healthcare system. You go to a country that doesn't have a healthcare system to support this, you can completely wipe out and overrun their entire hospital system. Complete chaos all throughout the nation, striking terror in the hearts and minds of civilians and government officials.
And what sounded like made the beauty of this is not only do we have this 50% mortality rate with this pneumonic plague, but the transmissibility is so high that it just spreads from person to person so quickly. It really sounds like an effective plague to, if you want to spread it around and kill populations very quickly.
Now, you're probably wondering, where can I get this plague?
I'd love to know where to get it because I need some.
Now, this number has been on the screen this entire time. And what is it? 1-800-555-PLGE. That is 1-800-555-PLGE.
For those of you who are like me, you need to remember that that's 1-800-555-PLUG.
Go out and buy your plague today.
And remember, that when you buy 3 orders of the pneumonic plague, that's 3 bottles, we will send you a free Russian transport missile. The Soviets, one of the greatest inventions they came up with. Why are you going to use plague if you can't transport it anywhere? The transmissibility is the whole point. So transfer it to a country, then let it spread. The transmissibility will have it carry from person to person so easily, especially in a highly dense population. It will spread like that. You'll think it's the 14th century all over again, and people will just start dropping dead. About 1/2 of everyone infected, actually.
That's it for Terror TV. I'm Steven.
I'm Matt.
And keep on terrifying.
Terror TV and its partners, subsidiaries, and financiers are not responsible for any death, mayhem, destruction, tomfoolery, shenanigans, jokes, pranks, assault, battery, immaturity, punkings, dunkings, wedgies, tiki twisters, full Nelsons, half Nelsons, or any other conduct that arises from use of our products. In no way do we advocate terrorism or terrorists, only science and science-related products. Thank you.